Alright guys, so this little lesson is kind of long, so, be prepared. It's a little bit longer than the others. If you need to take a break, please do that. Do not be afraid to stop. I'd rather you be fresh-minded when you come back. So, today's idea, slope and slope-intercept form, is something that you will continue to use the rest of your time in math. This is a concept that does not go away, and I know in physical science you are doing a little bit of it now as well. So it is something that you'll use forever whenever you graph. So if you continue anything in your mathematical career, this is something that you will continue using. So you're going to really want to pay attention. Okay, so what is slope? Slope is defined as essentially the basic part of a graph. It's rise over run, or as I like to refer to it, change in y over the change of x. Now, to find the slope of these basic graphs, we're going to go first from left to right, and there's a point for us to write that later on. So remember, we read our graphs from left to right, so I want to look for the leftmost point. Well, it's right here. In order to get, I'm going to use one point and then look at how do I get to another point to be my slope. So first I'm going to rise or change my y. So I'm going to count how many points, I'm going to count up, or in this case up, to determine how far up I go to the next point, and then I'm going to go to the right or left. I'm going to go to the right. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go to the right 1. And usually this is in a term of a fraction, so we're going to reduce it. So 5 over 1 is just 5. So this graph, if my computer is going to respond, there we go, has a slope of 5. Again, reading left to right, the leftmost point, which is this guy. Now, last time we went up we associate with positive. Now we're going to have to go down to get to our next point. So that's going to tell us we're going negative. Because remember, y's are always going up positive, negative's going down. Even if we start positive to another positive, we're still going down. So I'm going to go down. It's always negative. So 1, 2. So we're going to go down 2. 1, 2, 3. And since that 2/3 cannot be reduced, my slope is negative 2/3. Let's take a look at finding 2 more. Again, looking for the leftmost point. In this case, it's 0, 0. I'm going to count either up or down, and in this case, I'm going to go up. So 1, 2. And I'm going to go 2 to the right. Now, 2 divided by 2 can be reduced down to 1. So this one has a slope of 1. Again, here's my leftmost point. I'm going down again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went down 4. To the right 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So when finding slope from a graph, we always count from left to right, meaning that I look from the leftmost point. again, slope is a ratio of change in y over change in x, and we're not always given a graph. I could easily graph 2 points and try and connect the lines, but sometimes I'm given 2 different points. So say I'm given the points x, y, x1, y1, and x2, y2. My slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now what this is saying by the subscript of 1 and 2 is this is saying the first pair of points I come across and this is the second pair. So typically when you see these in points, you're going to have, if I take, say I'm talking about the graph here for a second, we said that my points on graph number 3 were at 0, 0, and 2, 2. In order to, if we're looking at this not on a graph, but just find the slope between these 2 points, we would take the second being the second pair and the 0, 0 being the first pair. So that's how it's going to give it to us in the next couple questions. So I'd say first pair. It's literally talking about when you read that sentence, find the slope of this and this, the first pair you see, the first x and y. So it'll say find the slope between this point and this point. This is the first point. This is the second point. That's all this is saying. It's not specifically saying you're going to have, you know, crazy different x's. You don't need these subscripts any more than they're saying that this is the first one and this is the second one. Okay? For example, number 5, find the slope that passes through these 2 points and then graph it. So again, the 1, 3 is going to be considered my x1, comma, y1. The 4, 7 will be my x2, y2. It's just simply because I see the 1, 3 first. It's written to me in that order, so that is the first, come on, x and y I have. So according to my rule that I just gave you, so I cannot think of the word, it slipped my head. We take the second y, which is 7, minus the first y, which is 3, over the second x minus the first x. 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. And I cannot reduce this anymore. So what that's saying is I should be able to graph a point at 1, 3. That spot, not the first one. And if I go up 4 and go to the right 3, I should be at my next point. So starting back here at the point we just did, I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to go to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. Now where is that point? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my second point. So I was able to get from one point to my second point based on my slope. So when we do slope, we go up or down, then always to the right. That's the thing I want you to remember today. Up or down, then always to the right. You never go left. Okay, so for these next four, we're just asked to find the slope like we had done here. We're not asked to graph it. So again, I'm going to use the first and the second like what I'm used to. The first always being the first point that I see, the second being the second one. So here's my x1, here's my y1, here's my x2, here's my y2. And if you need to label them, awesome. After a while, I'm not going to label them anymore because I want you to get used to seeing first is first, second is second. That's all it is to it. So I have 9 minus 5 over -2 minus 2. And yes, it will always be minus here. Oh, excuse me. You will see at some point in time when that won't be negative. Well, that would be if you had a minus. 2 minuses we now turn into a plus sign. So 9 minus 5 is 4. 2 minus 2 is -4. 4 over -4 will give me a -1. Next, I have -9 minus -1 over 4 minus 6. Now you're probably saying, well, why did I put that -1 in parentheses? Well, what happens here with minus minus? Turns into a plus. So this is -9 plus 1 over 4 minus 6. So I hinted a little sooner than I realized. -9 plus 1 is -8. 4 minus 6 is -2. -8 divided by -2 is a -4. Positive 4. Sorry. Negative is positive. Woo! There's my mouse. 10. I have 5 minus 4 over 2 minus 2. 5 minus 4 is 1 and 2 minus 2 is 0. Now here we come into something where like, what is this? I can't remember what happens. So I'm gonna give you a little refresher. If you notice in my classroom, and I think Miss Seitz has one, and I think Mr. Heiss has one, I just don't know where it is. We all have posters that I made last year that tell you what the answer to this is. Can you divide by 0? No. So my answer is undefined. If you ever have 0 in the bottom, it's not a possible thing, so your answer is undefined. Which leads me to the next problem. I have 1 minus 1 over -6 minus 4, which is 0 over -10. Can you divide by 0? That's okay. My answer is going to be 0. So okay and no are what you're going to want to remember when determining if it's undefined or 0. If 0 is in the bottom, nope. If it's on top, it's okay. It's just 0. Because I can try and take 0 and split it into something. It's just going to taste. You have 0 cookies. You have 0 pizzas. You want to split it 10 ways. Well, no one still gets 0. Well, you have 10 pizzas and you want to split it 0. That doesn't make sense. You're not saying with 10 pizzas. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. Why would you even consider that? Which is why this is considered to be undefined. Okay, which brings me to horizontal and vertical. So if we have the change in y over change in x, and I have the following line in front of me, and I have points here, and I have points here. My y value does not change, does it? So if my y value doesn't change, that's going to be like number 9. And we know we're going to get 0 on top. So whenever I have a horizontal line, it doesn't matter where it is, my slope is going to be 0. Now in my vertical line, my x doesn't change. So if my x doesn't change, it's going to be similar to number 8, which means we're going to have 0 on the bottom, which means it's always going to be undefined. So horizontal lines, slope are 0. Vertical lines, slope is undefined. Okay, this leads us into our next idea, which is to write an equation in slope-intercept form giving the following slopes and intercepts. So slope-intercept form, I feel like I'm missing a piece here, so I'm going to move this down for a second, is y is equal, ooh, that's a really bad y. Haha, let's try that again. Y is equal to mx plus b. And you're probably like, well, what the heck does that mean? It means that m is slope, and b is my y-intercept. The intercept means when x is 0, you're going to be at that location, either up or down on the y-axis. So for number 2, my slope is 4, and my intercept is -4. So I'm going to simply write y is equal to 4x minus 4. My x is always going to be there, and my y is going to always be there. Okay, number 3. In this case, I have a negative slope and a positive intercept. So I'm going to have y is equal to -2/5 x plus 2. Whatever sign the slope is will come with it, and whatever sign the intercept is will come with it. So if it's negative, you're going to bring a negative sign. If it's positive, you'll bring a positive sign. Number 4, my y is equal to -4/5 x plus 7. And 5, I get y is equal to -3x plus 6. Now we're just going to go backwards. We're being asked to pull apart the slope and the intercept based on the equation. So in this first one, number 6, my slope is whatever's with the x. So what number is right next to the x, glued together with it? 4, good. And my intercept is the number all by itself, which is the -3. Number 7, my slope is -1/2, but I don't see a plus or minus anything afterwards, do I? Well, if I don't see plus or minus anything, isn't that the same thing as saying plus 0 or minus 0? So my intercept here is just going to be 0. If nothing's written, it's assumed to be 0. Number 8, what invisible number is in front of my x? Good, -1. And my intercept? 4. And then 9, my slope is 1/2. My intercept is -6. You're probably thinking to yourself, okay, what does any of this mean? Well, we're going to use that to graph. Or in this case, first, we're going to go backwards. We're going to be given a graph and we're going to write the equation. So again, the slope is rise over run. and my B is where it lies on the y-intercept, or the y-axis. Let me write. So let's take a look at number 10. We know we're going to start with y is equal to. I start at 1, 2, 3. So my y-intercept is up 3. To get from my first leftmost point, which is the 0, 3, to the next point, I go up 2, to the right 1. So if my slope is up 2 over 1, that's equal to 2. So I have 2x plus 3. Let's take a look at number 11. Looking at my graph, the first point I come to is my intercept, and that is 1, 2, 3, down 3. And to get to my next point, I'm down 1, to the right 1, 2. Now when we go down, we're going to be negative, to the right 2, so my slope here is negative 1/2. So y is equal to negative 1/2 x minus 3. Again, number 12, we're going to start to the leftmost point. Oh, there it is. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, up 4. And then to get from my intercept to the next point, I am up 1, 2, 3. To the right 2. And while I could take 3 divided by 2, I want to keep my slope a fraction. I only reduce it into something I can. I can't really easily see 3 over 2 as a whole number. It'll be a mixed number. It'd be 1.5. But I don't like dealing with that. I want to see a nice, awesome fraction if I can, because it tells me how many I'm going up and how many I'm going to the right. So y is equal to 3 over 2 x plus 4. Okay, number 13, again, I'm going to look for my leftmost point, which is 0. And then the next point, to get from that first point to the next point, I go down 1, to the right 1, which is negative 1. So my intercept is equal to negative 1x plus 0. And remember, if you don't, it's 0. You can write it, but after a while I'm going to get you used to not writing it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is just negative 1x, or negative x. All right, graphing slope-intercept form. You're going to graph the slope. That's still way too big. Yep, I lied. You can't graph the slope without point. You're going to graph your y-intercept. You are going to graph the next point. We're going to say the next 3 points. Because I think Mrs. Lights wants you to do 5 or 4. I don't remember exactly how many you have to do. And then you're going to connect your dots. So let's take a look at number 14. First steps first is we're going to graph the intercept. The intercept is a number all by itself, which is 1. So I'm going to start at 0 and I'm going to go up 1. And I want to put thicker. Next, I'm going to graph 3 points by using my slope. If my slope is 2, we know that's 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2 to the right 1. That's 1 point. Now, from that same point that I just did, I'm going to go up 2 more to the right 1. That's 2. Up 2 more to the right 1. Up 2 more to the right 1. And next, I'm going to connect my lines. Connect the dots. Again, it's a lot easier for you to make a nice straight line than it is for me and my computer. All right, next one, number 15. We're going to start down at -3, and I didn't mean to make a dot there. So 1, 2, 3. Why are you writing? Go away. Come on. Down 3. I'm going to go a slope of 4, which is the same thing as 4 over 1. So I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. Up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. Up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. Connect my dots. Yes, you need the arrows. We talked about this already earlier this unit. I want to see. Okay, so this is my last slide. I'm going to do these 2 more with you, and then I want you to pause and do the last 2 on your own. All right, so we are going to do, start at the intercept, which is the last guy. So we're going to go down 6, 2, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go up 3 to the right 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's going to be off there a little bit. I didn't want only 2 points, so I know he's off a smidge. Just go ahead and put it on there for me. I know earlier I said don't graph it if it's not going to be on there, but I need more than 2 points. All right, last one I'm doing with you. We're going to start up 2. Now, this is negative. So if it's -5 over 3, we're going to go down, then right. So we're going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the right 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to connect our dots. Okay, try these 2. Come back and check. So I expect you to be pausing this video. All right, guys, have a good day.